Hey y'all, and welcome back to another video with Afro Hippie Journalist. And I normally don't do videos during the week, but I came across this story on Instagram and I just had to make a video because I thought it was exceptionally funny. Because you know how people don't want to hear the truth, and you know how certain people really don't want to hear the truth, especially about their history or about history in general. So this happened at a Texas school. It says Texan students storm out after professor says we're all of African descent. This happened at Texas State University in, I believe, San Marcos, which is about 2 hours from where I live. I live in Houston. And like I said, I found this story exceptionally funny, but I'm going to go ahead and read some of it. Some Texas State University students in Dr. McGee's cultural anthropology class left the lecture hall after he said in a lesson that all living people originated in Africa. As the exiting white students left the classroom, some remaining in class reportedly called after them, "Black Lives Matter." And I'm pretty sure they're probably pissed about that. The lecture started out with a message from the professor that today's class would be a lesson on race and it would be particularly interesting, so everyone should listen, said Justine Lundy, 20. The professor began talking about the Black Lives... Okay, my computer is doing stupid stuff. The professor began talking about the Black Lives Matter movement and how it had come about before stating that all living beings descended from East Africa. It was dead silent, Lundy said, before a student retorted with a sarcastic sure. And that's one thing, a lot of, white people don't want to admit that essentially we all do come from Africa. If they go back far enough down their bloodline, they will see that they descended from Africans, Black Africans. So I feel like they should just, at this point, to be honest with you, I feel like they should be over it by now, that it should not still be an issue. So I guess this person tweeted in class, "My professor just said all living people are descendants from Africa," and people got up and walked out, and now they're arguing. At that point, students began to leave the class. A few disagreeing students who didn't leave the classroom have stayed behind to argue with each other. "A lot of people left," said class attendee Karen Taylor, 19. "It was embarrassing." Lundy said she was pretty sure it was a talk of Black Lives Matter that primed students to argue and leave. Even though McGee wasn't picking sides or anything, he kept reiterating that. "The African descendant component was probably a straw that broke the camel's back," she said. And that's probably also because of everything that's been going on with, police brutality and everything like that. Like, I feel that white people are just over it. I feel like a lot of them don't really care about what's going on. I mean, they're probably tired of, "Oh, you're bringing up the past, this, that, and the other." But at the same time, it's like we're not bringing up the past if we're still living the past today, which we are. The past has not ended. History repeats itself. And we're still dealing with things that happened during those times of slavery and segregation. But I mean, I feel like it's about time that people just let this go. And this other person says, "Me in class yesterday watching all these people leave after what Professor McGee said." I'll leave the link in the description for you to check it out yourself. But I just find it, funny. I mean, why are you so butthurt about this? You're in anthropology class. Of course, these issues are going to come up. So I don't understand why people, are getting so butthurt about it. McGee said he himself didn't witness any outright dissent, but because the class is so large, it is possible that someone didn't like the topic and walked out. He is, as his credentials, years of research and general expertise would suggest, not wrong on the subject, though so dubbed out of Africa theory is widely accepted as our definitive origins by the scientific community. The University of Cambridge's Andrea Manica and his team spent years of research comparing thousands and human skulls as recently as 2007 to prove that, yep, we all originated solely in Africa. As a whole, I think the group is open-minded. Understanding other people's perspectives is a basic part of cultural anthropology. And that's one thing that I think this goes for all races, in my opinion, is that us understanding the perspective from a different person, not even just particularly different race, but just a different person, is a hard thing for us to do as humans. We don't want to see it from another person's point of view. We think automatically our point of view is right. We have the only point of view. That's the only one that matters. No one else has a point of view. And the thing is, we have to stop and, step back and think about things from another person's perspective. As far as, okay, with white people, they need to think from our perspective how we feel about the things that are going on. How we feel about the things that have happened in the past. And as black people, we have to think of the perspective of white people who want to understand. Not all white people, are racist. Okay? Not all white people are against black people. Not all white people are ignorant to the things that are happening in this country and have happened in this country. Not all white people are like that. And we as black people have to think about it from that perspective. Okay, this is not all white people. The majority, yes. But not all of them are that way. And just like white people have to think from the perspective of, not all black people are thugs, gangsters, hoodlums, criminals, all those types of things that we're perceived as, especially as barbaric. So, but yeah, that's in the article. I'll leave the link in the description. But I just wanted to speak on that because being that I live in Texas, I'm from here, this was close to home. And, Texas is Texas is a huge state, okay? And it's a very Republican state. And we do have a lot of our own issues. The whole thing where in our history books, they were trying to say that slaves were indentured servants and that they wanted to come here, that African people wanted to come here and be slaves. That's BS. It's a load of crap. That is not true. But Texas, we do have a lot of issues, especially when it comes to race, especially when it comes to wanting to hide our history, being that we're in the South. But it's kind of hard to hide it when you have so many millennials, people who are my age and younger and a little older. When we know the truth, when we were in school, they talked about slavery not as much as they should have. It was kind of just like slavery was talked about basically in the blink of an eye. Just like, the Trail of Tears with the Native Americans and as far as the Europeans coming over here, yes, they glorified the Europeans and everything that they did. But they made it seem like, how they murdered people and how they brought their diseases over here. Oh, that was just basically like a side effect. Like if you were taking some kind of medication, that was just a side effect. It would eventually go away. It's never going to go away. Ever. But please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And give me your thoughts on, this story about were the students right, or is it that they felt that they were just over this, or they didn't want to believe it? Let me know what you think. Until next time.